Previously on the STI build, the STI got a cosmetic makeover with some new rear spats and some fresh carbon parts. This included a carbon fiber hood and carbon fiber spoiler that we ended up painting to give that subtle carbon touch. But that's not all I have in store for the STI.
Yeah, I've got some bigger plans. I've got some big stuff. Even bigger than anything we've done on this car. You got your work cut out for you, that's for sure.
Certainly. We're not gonna do what I think we're about to do, are we?
Yep.
I've saved the best for last in this 3-episode build series on the STI. We're gonna cut up my STI, tear apart the bodywork, because I'm gonna do one of the most extreme things that I can do for probably the smallest benefit possible.
Why?
Have you met me?
I got an OEM STI Type RA carbon fiber roof, and we're gonna put it on my STI. Carbon roofs are usually reserved for high-end supercars because it's expensive. This roof alone is $7,000 from Subaru. The reason for this is to reduce the weight, obviously. But not just reducing weight, it's taking the weight off the most important spot on the car. By reducing the weight on the top of the car, it lowers the entire car's center of gravity.
By how much? How much weight is it gonna reduce?
I mean, maybe like a pound.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe 2. It could be 3.
Car manufacturers like BMW, Porsche, McLaren, Lamborghini, and even Bugatti put carbon roofs on straight from the factory. This is not only to make the car lighter, but also to lower the car's overall center of gravity. Many car enthusiasts who cannot afford these higher-end cars have the option of installing an aftermarket carbon roof, which is oftentimes a fiberglass roof with a layer of carbon on top. This is usually just for aesthetic reasons, since the fiberglass does add a lot of extra weight in comparison to carbon fiber. The most common option is to wrap the roof in fake carbon, or black, like I did on the widebody Evo 10. This is usually the most cost-effective, and from a design standpoint, it looks good and makes the car look more slim by darkening the roof. But I think a true carbon fiber roof will tie the whole car together better, with carbon on the spoiler, carbon on the hood, and even carbon on the side mirrors.
Okay, so this is our new roof. It's a carbon fiber roof, and it was cut off of an STI Type RA, which is a limited production run, 1 of 500 made, super rare spec STI, and we're lucky enough to have a roof cut off of one, which is incredible. You can buy these brand new, but it's $7,000, and that is not what we paid for this. So we do have a little bit more work because it's not just a brand new in-box roof. We do have to cut it out of this old roof rail, and we've got the front windshield and the back windshield, so we gotta take some of that glue out and everything. But the reason I wanted to go with an OEM roof is for 2 reasons. One, it fits up nicer and you don't have to really worry about like body panel fitment not being right, and that is a huge plus of having an OEM. But another plus is that this is genuine carbon fiber through and through on the top and on the bottom. When you get a lot of aftermarket carbon stuff, you have like a carbon sheet on the top, but underneath is actually fiberglass, which isn't a big difference, but it does make a weight difference. Having a full, true carbon fiber means it's gonna be a little bit lighter than it would be if it had a fiberglass resin bottom with just a carbon lay on the top. All right, Mark, how much do you think it weighs?
I'd say 33.75 maybe.
You think it's heavier?
Yeah.
I think it's still lighter. I'm gonna say.
Really? Even with the turbo and all the other added accessories, the IAG block?
Yeah, but we've also removed some OEM junk that didn't need to be there on the stock motor, you know?
Okay, so what do you think? Maybe about 10?
I think 33.25.
Wow, you think we went down by 25 pounds?
I think so. I mean,
roughly?
the exhaust was that alone, but then I think between the carbon and the wheels and stuff, making up for the difference with the front mount weight and all that.
Holy crap. Quite a bit.
I mean, we were both off. The car's a lot lighter than we thought.
Well, you said what, 33.25-ish?
Yeah. It's 10 pounds lighter than what I thought, and I thought I was going maybe a little bit in favor of it wanting to be lighter, but yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
I mean, that's almost 80 pounds lighter than the factory weight, like the factory sticker weight. That's impressive. That's pretty good. We're making good progress.
And it's lighter than the RA?
It is lighter than an RA. Dang. Dang, and we haven't even done the carbon roof yet. Dang.
I believe the carbon roof, especially after talking about it a little bit, is gonna take off maybe about 7-8 pounds.
I think that the carbon roof is gonna take off like 10 pounds minimum.
What? No way.
I think it might even be more than that because it's a pretty big roof, and the roof that's on the car is steel. When we measured the hood, it was aluminum to carbon, and that was like carbon fiber with fiberglass underneath. This is a true carbon sheet that's going on the roof. So I think it's gonna be more than 10 pounds and in the most important spot right on top. But you'll have to stick around to the end of the episode because we're gonna weigh the car again to find out the official results of how much this carbon roof shaved off. We're already lighter than an actual Type RA, so that's pretty cool.
All right, so now that we got our baseline weight of 3316, I don't know about you, I'm ready to get started. I wanna get this done and over with. All right, so now that we got the headliner to the front and rear windshield out, now it's gonna be time to start taking this glue off and exposing the spot welds so that eventually we can get this roof off and then test fit the new carbon fiber roof.
Heavy. Oh my gosh, yeah, that looks genuinely very heavy. Woo! What do you think?
I'd say that's pretty heavy.
Like 50 pounds heavy, or?
I'd say about 25 maybe, spread across the whole thing.
Well, we're not gonna put you on the scale yet because that would give it away. We're gonna find out at the end of the episode how much weight difference there is between that and that by weighing the entire car, the actual end result. Yeah, that's pretty good. Man, that's over your head too. That is crazy.
What do you think, 30 pounds? 25?
I don't think it's 30 pounds. I mean, it's heavy.
It's spread across the entire thing, remember that.
I think it's 20 pounds.
You think it's 20 pounds?
Maybe. That is crazy though. I didn't expect the roof to be that thick. Like, especially on the Civic, like you can press on the roof and it goes like you would have like a poster board or something, you know what I mean? It'd be like waving around.
Yeah,
this is not.
That's much thicker.
Yeah, this is not poster board. Hello there. I wanted to take a brief pause from working on the STI because I'm tired, but also because I wanted to thank the sponsor of this series, which is Continental Tire. And no, they didn't ask me to make this ad read. I just really like their tires. But also, if you click the link in the description below, the Continental link, that helps our analytics, and maybe that helps them to sponsor another build series that we do in the future. Maybe we'll do another carbon fiber roof on another car.
Nope.
Either way, if you like a good street tire, check out the DWS 06 Plus, or if you want some more grip, maybe the Sport 02. But now, back to the carbon.
With the roof now off the car, we're gonna start separating the carbon roof from the old metal rails.
Starting to take the body panels off and notice that there's a structural piece that we need. This came on the RA and we don't have that structural piece. So this needs to be adapted to it because the carbon fiber roof actually sits a little bit further back than the factory STI roof. So a lot of obstacles that we're trying to overcome. We need to save this piece here and somehow attach it to the STI and try not to break anything. Finally, after all the drilling, the cutting, the grinding, the prying, we finally got the carbon fiber roof off of the rails, and now we need to start prepping the surface on this backside here. So I'm gonna start removing all the glue, I'm gonna start removing all the insulating foam so that we can get it prepped and ready to go onto the car. Ben's gonna start working on the bracketry that will hold all this stuff in place.
These brackets are different than the brackets on my STI base model. The Type RA has a slightly different bracket design. As you can see, it is missing this piece here, and there are some hole cutouts right here, here, and two more over there for access for where the bolts go through to hold the carbon underneath. But also, it has an additional bracket that we don't have at all, which is this one here. This is Type RA specific, and it sits right about there, and that allows the carbon to seal against the roof and the windshield to seal against this bracket, but not overlap. So the way that the factory roof goes is got the metal kind of overlaps and then the windshield sets on top of that metal. My assumption is that you can't put a windshield on top of the carbon. It would probably crack it, but we can't fit that carbon roof onto this car without this bracket. As much as I would like to, because it would be way easier, it is simply not possible. So we had to cut out all the spot welds on this, and we're gonna have to fit it up onto this, modify this bracket, and then weld this bracket onto this one. And it's the same for the rear as well.
We're gonna use weldable paint to prevent the brackets from rusting underneath where we're gonna weld.
So this is a spot welder. I'm gonna use this instead of TIG welding. I TIG welded that corner over there already for that other bracket, and I am still gonna TIG weld a couple spots, but this front seam right here is gonna be very difficult because you'd have to do it upside down, and also we're welding two different thicknesses of materials, so that's very difficult. Factory uses spot welds, which is this guy. Obviously the factory uses a better one, but this is basically just two connector diodes with electricity sending it through, which heats up the metal until it melts into each other. So there's no filler or wire that you're welding into it. You're literally just melting two pieces of metal together in a very, very specific spot.
Since this roof also bolts to the side rails, we're gonna have to drill out holes for the bolts. With the chassis and the roof finally prepped, it's time to put the weather seals on so we can lay the epoxy and put the roof on.
So we want to put pressure on the roof. We want to evenly distribute it so that we can make sure that that poly adheres to the car. We do have it bolted down, but it's only about 5 foot-pounds of torque, which was the spec we measured on the old roof, so that's OEM torque spec. We don't really want to go tighter than that because obviously you don't want to break the carbon. So thankfully, we are sponsored by Continental Tire. And we have these tires that we took off of the car at the beginning of this series. We can use them as a nice way to distribute the weight evenly across the hood, or the roof, sorry, and make sure that it's pushing down on it. So yeah, Continental Tire has more than one use.
With the roof on, now it's time to prep the glass.
Putting the interior back together in this back area because we figure it's going to be easier with the glass out. So we might as well put it in while we have extra space. Well, dang, I can't believe we just did that.
Yeah, it's not bad for a wrap.
Honestly, it just looks like a black roof. Like we rewrapped it black. It's a good look though.
All that money and it just looks like a black roof.
Yeah, I can't say this was a smart investment. Especially since it's gonna leak.
This is where we differ. I don't think it's gonna leak. The good part is you're the one that laid down the epoxy.
So it's my fault.
So yeah, it would definitely be your fault.
Okay, well, it's definitely gonna leak and it's definitely my fault. That's fine.
The front glass, not gonna leak. Rear glass, however, it's questionable.
I'm questioning all of it. Let's do a test just in here. We'll just take the hose and maybe just kind of sprinkle it if you want to get in the car with like a flashlight and look for drips.
Good so far.
Really? This corner here I'm really iffy about, so I'm gonna soak this corner right here.
Stop. Where did that come from? Go ahead, spray it more.
Okay,
Yep,
hosing.
right there. Stop.
So it leaks?
Yeah. Stop. It's all gonna be in the corners. Stop. So here's the glass, the piece that we welded in, and it's like leaking in between that and the body seal. Or in the body.
The first epoxy seal that we did is where it's leaking. Not the poly, but the one under that when we put the bracket in.
Well, yeah, and this one in particular, remember you welded.
Right.
So we welded and we put the epoxy on.
But the epoxy was only on the front side, not the back side.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, leaking more so on the backside.
Yeah.
After calmly discussing our options, we decided we would try and seal the roof with epoxy inside the car to try and get rid of the leaking corners.
Well, unfortunately, even after Mark's patching job of putting even more polyurethane from the inside, the roof still leaks. And this is the part of the video that I hate to make because we failed in a way. The roof is on the car technically, but it leaks, so it's not acceptable. I can't drive a car that leaks. But we're gonna end the video here. You're not gonna see us fixing it because it's going to be painstaking. And the next time that you see the STI, it will be properly done. But one last thing, before we end this video out, I said at the beginning of the video we would weigh the car afterward to see how much weight we reduced. So we're gonna do that anyway, even without the headliner and stuff. We'll just throw it in the car so that it's all proper weight, and we'll see the final number for how much weight reduction that this is actually doing so that I can be even more sad because it's gonna be so small. All right, so 3308, that's 8 pounds. 3 weeks of labor, 7 grand, give or take.
Totally worth it.
8 pounds, yeah, dude. I'm pretty big brained.
Well, I mean, you put me through a lot of torture. My hands still hurt to this day. Y'all better like, subscribe to this YouTube channel, or I quit.